So here we have a problem in which we need to add three fractions and they have different denominators. So for problems like this, especially when they may be no calculator problems on the SAT, you may need to be able to find the least common denominator of these numbers. So in this case, the denominators are 8, 10, and 12, and we want to find the least common denominator. So in order to do that, the first thing you're going to need is the list of prime numbers. So remember, these are the numbers that are divisible only by 1 and themselves. So the first prime number is 2, and then 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, and so forth. Right? They continue forever. And so how do we find the least common denominator here? Well, let's line these numbers up, 8, 10, and 12, and then you draw a vertical line. And ask yourself, is any of these three numbers, 8, 10, and 12, divisible by the first prime number? And the answer is yes. In this case, they all three are. So I will write that 2 here and then divide. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So again, are any of these new numbers now still divisible by 2? And the answer is yes, so I will keep writing. Divide by 2, so this becomes a 2. Since 5 is not divisible by 2, I will keep it as 5, and this becomes a 3. Now, this 2 here is still divisible by 2, so I will write 2 again. And when 2 is divided by 2, the result is 1. And I keep 5 and 3 since they're not divisible. Now, I am done with this column since I got 1 here. Still have to deal with 5 and 3, so the next prime number is 3. And this 3 is divisible by 3, so write 3 here. Keep the 5 because it's not divisible by 3, and when you divide 3 by 3, you get 1. And finally, the next prime number is 5, and this 5 is divisible by 5, so when you write 5, you get 1 here. And here's the thing now. You have obtained this column of numbers here, and when you multiply them together, 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 5, that gives you 120, and that 120 is in fact the least common denominator of the three numbers we're dealing with. So the next step here would be we go back to the original problem and say, by what number do I need to multiply 8 to get 120? And the answer is I need to multiply by 15. So I multiply both numerator and denominator by 15. To go from 10 to 120, I need to multiply by 12, numerator and denominator. And to go from 12 to 120, I need to multiply by 10, numerator and denominator. So when I do that, I get 15 over 120 plus 12 over 120 plus 10 over 120. And now since the denominators are the same, remember, when denominators are the same, you keep the same denominator and add the numerators. Right, so in this case, obtaining 37 over 120 as your final answer in this case.